Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a great day today. I'm sure that you are a bit tired by all the talks that you've seen, but please stick with me, bear with me. I'm sure that we are going to see some interesting things here. We are going to talk about traceability, and I had a special permission from the inventory expertise team to actually present this talk and go back to the Odoo Inventory app, one of my favorites. Yeah, I want to make sure here that you scan actually the QR code that is here on the right on the slide, so that you can ask any of the questions that you might have during the presentation. But let's go and let's dive in. Before diving into the demonstration, which is of course the most interesting part, we are going first to see what is the business case that I want to lay out during the presentation. This business case is pretty simple. We are facing a company called Sub & Co. Sub & Co. acts as a subcontractor producing computer motherboards. Roy, a former IT guy, is the new CEO of the company and is looking to integrate a new traceability platform to track the products from end to end. And we are about to present that new solution, a solution, of course, from Odoo, with the new features of Odoo 17 to show to Roy how he could track the different items that he has in stock. Of course, in such an industry, in the computer industry, you understand that you have some challenges, such as the purchasing operations that needs to be smooth. You need to do some quality control to make sure that the quality of the components is correct. And of course, at the very end, when you send the items to the customers, from time to time, you realize that you have some flaws, that you need to identify the root causes, the lots that caused the issues, and you need to recall them, of course. So we need to track really that flow from end to end. And the flow that we are interested in is pretty simple, is a pretty standard one, but that will help us to really understand the power of Odoo. Of course, we will receive first the item in our inbound location. We will then send some of the products that are tracked to a quality control area. Within the quality control area, we will decide from time to time that we have to put some of the items in a quarantine location, or we might even decide to put them in a temporary inspection location. And then we will send the item to a storage location to put them in their right location in the warehouse. It can happen from time to time as well that we have some products, some components that don't go through the quality control area, and we send them directly to one of the warehouse locations. Later on, when we have the components in stock, we will actually send them to production to actually start the manufacturing orders. And when we have the finished goods ready for delivery, we will of course send them to the customer. Like we did for the inbound process, we might also decide to send some of the components directly to our end customers. In that case, we help some of our colleagues on the market to produce their own motherboards with the components that we bought ourselves. At the very end, of course, we want to return some of the items in case we have to activate the warranty of the product. And in that case, we will return and repair the items within the company. But let's see first what it means here to use lot serial numbers in the system in Odoo by checking what happens in the outbound stage. Let's see first, of course, the configuration that I have set here. So if I go in the inventory app, I check the products. And as you can see here, I have the motherboard, which is my finished product. And of course, associated to it, I have a bill of materials containing, of course, all the components that I'm going to use for that production. Additionally to that, if you check in the inventory tab, you'll see that the tracking is set by unique serial number, because I want to track every item, every product that I send to my customers, and see also the components that were used for that production. You can see also that I have all the other products that are used as components divided in different categories. And if I group by tracking, you see that I have some of the items that are tracked by unique serial numbers, some by lots, and others that have no tracking in the end. It's important to understand that at the moment I have already a bit of physical inventory, I have a bit of units in stock, and also I have a few operations that are almost ready to start, but I need to receive my items first in my inventory. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the inbound part, as I said, and I'm going to review the different purchase orders that I have to receive. As you can see here, I'm buying a few transistors from a local reseller. I'm going into the receipt, and in that case, because it's a local reseller, the local reseller doesn't provide me with a packing list with the lot numbers, so I'm going to manually input the information of the lot number. So this is the typical way you will enter the lots into the system. I save the information, and I validate my receipt, and I have my lot in my inventory. I have a similar situation with the same product, but from an official manufacturer, which is Ether Tech. And in that case, my manufacturer is a bit more organized, and he provides me with lots and serial numbers from a packing list. So I can use the wizard import lots. I can actually take the packing list from my supplier and copy-paste the lot information into the wizard here in Odoo. I'll then generate all the lots that I need with the right quantities. And as you can see, I had nothing to do and just copy-paste the information into the system. Once again, I save, I validate the receipt, and in a few clicks, I could register the different lots from my supplier. I can also do that for lots with expiry dates. So if I take here my receipt from Gigafactory for CMOS batteries, I can do the same. I will open up the wizard, I will import the lots, and here I have another packing list available that I can as well copy-paste. So I take it, I copy-paste it in the wizard. And same as before, but with additional information that are the expiry dates. I have the expiry dates that are automatically filled in from the spreadsheet that was sent by my supplier. So I sent it, I validate the receipt, and I have received my PO. So you see, it's pretty fast, it's pretty easy. I can do it manually, or I can do it through the copy-paste, and it's an intelligent copy-paste that will detect automatically in which column which information is. And finally, I have an order for BIOS chips from ADM, and in that case, I really want to track every item with a unique serial number, but the supplier doesn't provide me with any serial number, so the idea here is that I'm going to auto-generate the different suppliers that I need. So in that case, I will put an initial name here, and Odoo will automatically generate the 400 serial numbers that I need in that receipt. So here I save my receipt, and I validate the receipt in the inventory. So I have all my products in the inventory, and now we can switch to the other part of the flow. So as I said, I did process all my products within my inventory. I then need to move on my quality control and check whether I need to send some items outside of the usual flow. So in that case, I will go in my inventory app. I will open the different quality operations that I have. I have set some quality control points on the transistors product. And as you can see here, I'm asked to review every lot that I receive in the inventory. So in that case, I need to do a visual check. I need to make sure that the tension is OK. And in that case, I will say that the product has passed the test and that I can receive it in stock. I have another quality control for the same product, but from my manufacturer here. Let's say that the 2 first lots are OK. But the third one, I have an issue. I have the tension which is not OK. And in that case, I will make it fail, and I will decide in which location I will relocate the item. So as you can see here, I can select an extra location, which is the temp inspection one, and I confirm the quality check. I will finally say that my final lot is ready, is passing the test, and I can then validate my full operation. So part of the items that were succeeding are actually sent to stock, and the ones that failed, of course, are sent to the temp inspection location. What's interesting here is that now you have the ability to see on the operation actually the lots that passed or didn't pass the test. So it's pretty easy here from the operation view to see it. So I have received my items, I have controlled them in terms of quality. So now I really want to check within my storage what I have in stock at the moment. And that's pretty straightforward in Odoo, because if you go in the reporting in the locations, you can filter the information, you can group it by, you can group by, let's say, first product and then location. I can see here that my transistors are split across the stock and the temp inspection location. And that's the same for the CMOS battery. I have part of it which is in a quarantine location, another one which is in the stock location. And I can, for instance, say, okay, let me see all the items that would have an expiry date that is overdue. And in that case, here you can see that I have still 2 lots that are overdue that are still here in stock. So I can decide here in V17 to quickly relocate some items from one location to another. In that case, I want to move the expired lots into a quarantine dangerous good location, and I'm moving it onto the other location. So if I check again the CMOS product, you'll see here that I've moved them into the quarantine location. I can actually evaluate the situation by going into the products, the CMOS battery, checking the lot serial number, and now I have a new Kanban view that helps me to see the split between the lots, between the different locations. And if I made a mistake on the last relocate, I can change it back to WH stock if needed. An important thing, I believe, from the V17 also is the fact that you can better categorize the different lot serial numbers that you have in the inventory. You can add characteristics on these lot serial numbers. So for instance, I could say that I want to better track the quality of my products here in the inventory. So I would like to add some properties. So here you have the ability to add properties on lot serial numbers. I will add a section about the quality of my products. Let's create first the separator. I will add a property which will be the origin of the product. So as I said before, I have a product for which sometimes I buy it from a manufacturer and sometimes I buy it on the aftermarket. And you can, of course, understand that the quality of it will be different from one to the other. So that's my first property. And another one that I would like to add, it's the grade of my product after going through the quality control. And I will see here that I have 3 possibilities for the grade. It can be high, medium, or low. And of course, I'm displaying it here in the Kanban card. So here, for instance, I know that it comes from my manufacturer. Let's say it has a high grade. That one as well comes from a manufacturer. The grade is medium. And for the last one, I know it comes from the aftermarket. And let's say that the grade is high. So it's interesting because if I move back to the lot serial numbers, I can switch to the Kanban view. I can see the information here that I have added on my products. I can filter the information on the properties that I have created so that I can find all the lot serial number based on the properties that I have set onto them. And the interesting part as well is that this information will be transferred also, for instance, on the location report. So I can look for all the lots serial number that are from a manufacturer, for instance. So I have this reporting that is embedded and that can be searched on the different properties that we create. And we will see later on that there is a possibility to select the reservation and the items that are delivered to the customer based on these properties. So I have reviewed my stock, I have categorized it, and of course, what I want to do now is to launch a production of the final product and, of course, send it to my customer. So in that case, what I'm going to do, of course, is to switch to the manufacturing app. And now, of course, my first manufacturing order is fully ready to be produced. I can assign, for instance, a serial number for the first product that I'm going to produce, and the lot serial numbers of the components are automatically selected by Odoo. I can then launch the production, and by doing this, I will have a first unit of my finished product into my inventory. That unit is now ready, of course, to be delivered to one of my customers that is expecting a motherboard. And it's my dear Dwight Root that is expecting this motherboard. And I will actually, as you can see, deliver the first serial number that I created here for the delivery. Now that I have done all this, of course, what I want to do is to actually show you that you have the ability to return the items and to repair them if needed, especially if your customer complains about it. So here, I can decide, for instance, from the delivery order to return the item, the motherboard. I will create the return. As you can see, it automatically selects my first serial number, and I can validate that return. From there, I can go into the repair app, and I can create a new repair for my customer. I want to repair a motherboard, and I will specify which serial number I want to repair and from which return it comes from, and I can specify whether it is under warranty or not. I will select also which parts I'm going to remove and replace by another one. Let's say here that I have an issue with the transistors, and I will replace one transistor per another, so I do a swap. I will confirm my repair. I will check the lots that are selected. I'm selecting here in the removal the first lot that was used in the production. And because I've detected an issue with that lot, I will replace it with another one. So I want to take, for instance, the last lot that I received in the inventory. So I can swap one lot for another into the repair, and I can just then end my repair. So if I look at my full flow by actually going onto my serial number for the motherboard, onto the traceability report, it's very interesting because I will see at a glance all the operations that I've done from end to end. So for instance, here you can see from which production order it comes from, which components were used. I can see even the origin of the component itself. Then I see the delivery to my final customer, the return from the customer, and then in the end, the repair order that I created. And even within the repair order, I can see the swap of lots that I had here, swapping one lot for another. So it's very interesting. You have a full overview of what was made in the inventory. And as I told you, I realized that there was an issue with my TX001 lot number here. So what I want to make sure here is that this lot that has been sent to some of my customer is actually recalled on time so that I don't have any more issues and I can do the replacement of the parts. And as you can see here, from that lot number, I can access the different deliveries for which I send the item directly or for which I sent a finished product that where that lot was part of. So I can simply select all the delivery orders and send a recall email to all my customers saying that I want to recall the items and that I want to repair them and replace the lot that is defectuous. So we saw a full flow here from end to end. And there is one more thing that I won't be able to show because time is definitely limited here. But something interesting that some persons were expecting, I believe, is the fact that you can now copy-paste lot serial numbers from intercompany transactions. So from one SO to one PO or the opposite. So you have now the ability to do that intercompany. So let's wrap it up. As you have seen it here, we have a pretty fast purchasing process. We have some quality control that exists per lot. It's enhanced compared to what we had before. We have also the ability now to add properties onto the lot serial numbers. So it's very interesting to search for them and to have additional characteristics on the products. And more importantly, we offer the ability to have really end-to-end traceability over the process that you have, thanks to the extensive, comprehensive traceability report that exists, but also thanks to the functionality of the lots serial numbers into Odoo. So I think that you have plenty of features that you can use to actually cover most of the use cases that you will have and that you will face in real life. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, please make sure to scan the QR code and ask them.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thanks.
Actually, I think you've been crystal clear because there is not so much question. Some people are writing.
Okay.
Product relocation with date, is it executed?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Product relocation with date, is it executed?
Is it executed? What do you mean by?
I think
is it automated, maybe?
Yeah, I think it might be the
Okay.
question. Yeah.
Automated? No, it's not automated. So as I've shown here, you need to be in the list of locations and list of products to actually see the ones that are expired. And when they expire, you can then manually relocate them. That being said, with the new automations that have been brought to Odoo 17, you would have the possibility to automate that. So if you are past, I would say, the expiry date, you could automate the relocation to a certain location, for instance, or send a message, for instance, automatically, or create an activity for the person responsible for the expiry of the lot. So that's also a possibility, I believe, to automate with the automation tool of Odoo the creation of activities or relocations from something.
Okay. You mentioned selecting the product by properties for end users. Is there a way to say which properties to send to which client, like high quality only to top tier customer?
Okay, yeah, there is something that I didn't show. Actually, I'm realizing that. But if we go, for instance, in the delivery orders, I have one here that is pending. You can actually here, from the selection of the lots in the delivery order, select exactly which lot you want to send to your customer. So for instance, I could say that I'm okay for that customer to send a product that comes from the aftermarket. And in that case, I can directly select 100 units of a lot that is of the aftermarket. And in that case, I can directly select the lot number here. That being said, maybe the question relates to the ability to say on the sales order line which, for instance, grade I want or things like that. It's not embedded at the moment, but the workaround that I would see would be to select it directly from the delivery orders.
I have another question here. To return a good from customer back to the vendor, do you have to go through each transfer?
Yes, indeed. If you have purchased a lot number to a vendor and then you send it to a customer, if you want to return it directly to the vendor, you can do it either in 2 steps, or even you can change the return and you change the destination location on the return and you could send it to the vendor as well. So we could do it in 1 step actually. So that's a possibility. But you need to change the return location and you need to make sure that the vendor location is considered as a return one.
Okay. A quick question: how to delete mass import of serial number that you imported?
Okay, auto delete. Actually, I don't know if you've seen, but there is an option here to delete the lines that are existing or not. And then if you made a mistake, yeah, you can mass delete them if needed, yeah.
How can we manage the process? If we are using dropshipping, also, how will consignment impact V17 functionally?
Okay, if you are doing drop shipment, you can decide to track or not the lot serial numbers. Usually when you do drop shipment, it means that you have one SO, one PO, but you only have one operation that is related to it, instead of having a receipt and then a delivery. In that case, with that one operation, it should normally reflect what your vendor will do to do the delivery to the customer, and it all depends on the information that the vendor will deliver to you. So if you don't receive the traceability information, in my opinion, it will be the responsibility of the vendor to do that tracking on your behalf, in my opinion. But if you receive the information of the lot serial numbers that have been tracked by the vendor, you can always add them in that single operation. That's a possibility as well, yeah. And for consignment, I don't think that there are many changes related to consignment in Odoo 17, not that I know of.
Maybe one last question. Yep. About the return from customer to vendor, if you do it in 1 step, are the quantity in the order updated correctly?
Yeah. So yeah, they would like to have an update both, I guess, in the SO and in the PO. Yeah. So in that case, indeed, you should do it in 2 steps if you want the quantities to update in both documents because of the link. Yeah, indeed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.